be out here identifying some plants. A lot of these wild plants, they grow in our communities. They're plants for the people. We need these plants. So when I mean plants for the people, nature has a unique wisdom attached to it, that nature knows what we require to heal our bodies and to sustain our bodies, to work on different anatomical portions and physiological aspects of our body, to keep us holistically balanced and sound in these modern times. So we definitely want to return to the ancient ways and ancient practices of our foremothers and forefathers. In this era of time now, we got to fortify ourselves. Mother Earth is calling out to us, and we want to take care of the earth and start with the center, the sun area. You know, our GI tract, our intestinal tract, our sewer systems. Colon health, intestinal health is life. It's where the agni burns, the fire burns, digestive fire. You know, we want to break down our foods and assimilate our foods. What I mean by break down is what we don't eliminate, you accumulate. So if you don't eliminate the waste, you're what? Accumulating this waste into our systems. So there's many herbs we can use: Cascara sagrada, rhubarb root, senna. One particular herb that I like to use is psyllium husk. It's a fiber. It scratches the walls to the colon. It's good for digestive health, elimination. It's even good for diabetics, breaking down cholesterol, lowers and balances your blood sugar, and it's good for heart health. We need to increase our fiber in our diet in particular. So with psyllium husk, is really unique because it grows abundantly around us. Remember, I talked about these plants for the people. So, you know, you got the red clovers that grow, you know, the burdock. You know, these are things that we usually hear. The yellow dock grows abundantly here in Philadelphia. The mullein leaf. So I want y'all to take the opportunity to get to know the plants around you, because they're growing around you because you need them. Our body requires them. And you can't get all your sustenance from the food alone. We need things that's going to support our diet, such as herbs. So we're out here today. We're going to look for where psyllium husk comes from. It comes from a plant called Plantago major. Plantago major, or Plantago activa. It's also known as Plantago activa. And you can use the leaves. We're gonna look for some right now. You can use the leaves for insect bites, spider bites, poison ivy, mosquito bites. You can grind the leaves up, squeeze the vital oils out, and apply it to your skin. These leaves have astringent effects. What I mean by astringent, there's astringent in taste, and there's astringent in the effects it has on your tissues. So astringent has an effect that it tightens your tissues, tones your tissue, and it has a drawing effect on your tissues. So if you get a spider bite, insect bite, poison ivy, you can grind the Plantago activa up, squeeze the juices out, and apply it. And it would draw the bee sting out. It would draw and soothe the histamine aspects of the poison ivy or the spider bite, and just soothe your skin. So we're going to be out here. I believe the Plantago activa grows all year round. Let's see if we can identify some really quick. Here's some right here. You can zoom in on it. So this is the actual leaf right here. May Mother Earth appreciate this connection that we have, and I just offer love and peace to Mother Earth, and thank Mother Earth for just allowing us to use it right now. So these are the leaves. You know, you can grind them up, squeeze them. If you're in nature, I'm not saying come out here and look for psyllium husk and use it, but you know, they cultivate it, they have fields of it. But these leaves, you can just actually like kind of chew them up and apply it to the skin. rub it on to, you know, draw the bee sting out or the poison from the bites. But this right here is where the psyllium husk comes from. I think we actually got some psyllium husk if you haven't seen it. So this is the husk. So it has a mucilage effect to it. They call it a demuculant, but I like to use the word mucilaginous because it's more of an effect of that it's coating, it's soothing your GI tract, your intestinal tract, to allow it to scrape the walls of your colon, of the debris that's spackle against your colon walls. So just sitting there fermenting and causing parasites, yeast, and mucus. So this breaks all of it up and it soothes it, it coats it, to allow easy passage of the waste to eliminate. So this is actually where the husk comes from. And can you see it? Zoom in right here. So these little seeds right here is actually where the psyllium husk comes from, and it grows abundantly. So imagine if you have a whole field of them, and you're cultivating a field of the Plantago major, Plantago altiva. You would just remove all the seeds, all the husk off, and it'll come off like this.
Okay.
All right. For the gut health. So later on, we're going to talk about how important gut health is holistically, you know, and kind of connected to what we see what's going on in society. See, I like to use these herbs that grow around us to kind of help with societal issues. You know, this is my divine work that I utilize, that I believe that these plants are here to reconnect us to earth. But what you can see is that these plants have a direct effect on us, and if we use these plants, you can cleanse the gut. You know, there's a gut-brain axis. You know, the gut is directly connected to the brain and the microbes and the bacteria in our gut. So we can work on cleansing the gut area with simple herbs like psyllium husk that grows locally. We can use it to really heal our bodies and minds.
Hello, beautiful friends and family. We are here again with the master herbalist, Chris himself. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, brother. You know, out here getting this fresh air, getting this sweet holy breath that's prana out here, vibing with my good friend.
Yes, sir.
I can't be happy.
Sir. I know that's right. Okay. So for the folks that's not too familiar with you, they finna get familiar with you. But can you tell the people a little about yourself, like the evolution of you, how you got into health and wellness and just your journey in general?
Yeah. So I come from a heavy background, you know. Since a youth, I had to stay up on my health because both my older brother, who's 10 years older than me, and my older sister, who's 7 years older than me, they had juvenile diabetes. So as a youth, 3 to 4 years old on up, I had my mom, you know, testing my urine, checking my, you know, my ketones, my urine, making sure I wasn't diabetic. And I didn't understand, you know, you 3 or 4 years old, your mom rushing you to the bathroom, and all the time, even though I was potty trained, having, you know, me pee in this little cup, I didn't know what was going on. But she was just making sure that my blood sugar levels were, you know, accurate, and you know, no protein in my urine, nothing like abnormal going on with my kidneys or my blood sugar. And you know, then you see like your grandparents and family members dealing with health issues, and that kind of like wakes you up early. Back in 2001, I had a unique scare with no medical proof or background, but I had a lot of GI issues going on. My freshman year at college, you know, I was losing weight, vomiting often, you know, couldn't keep my food was going straight through me, and always fatigued. So when I went to the doctors, you know, they didn't do no major tests, they just went off my basic symptoms, and they said, son, you might have cancer. And that shook and sent a lower vibration through the core of my body. You know, when you hear that word cancer, and I was only 17, And I refuse to let that vibration, you know, set in my mind. You know, more than the word or the actual disease, it felt like it was a vibration they was trying to attach to me, like cancer, that energy,
the
reality, the fear, and everything that comes along with it, which I think actually is the biggest part that affects people.
For sure.
More than the disease is just the vibration and what it does to the intellect, the psyche.
Yeah.
You know, and you spiritually, you know, you hear that word and we kind of create that doomsday in our own mind, and your mind, where the mind goes, the body tends to follow. So, you know, I started changing my diet. I was drinking at a young age, you know, taking double shots here, drinking here, you know, smoking heavy, you know, drinking cow's milk. You know, they lied to us. You know, they said milk does the body good. You remember those commercials? Like, they used to say milk does the body good.
Bones, good for your bones.
You get strong muscles.
Yeah.
They had that little milk mustache, and you know,
all the athletes promoting it.
No, they had our favorite athletes, you know, drinking the milk, promoting it, and you thinking if you do this, you'll be where they at one day.
Right.
You know, and we believed it. So, but that just led me down a crazy path, and you know, my health, once the health is gone, it's difficult to get back. So from that, you know, I cut a lot of things out my diet, cut back and, you know, eliminated the tobacco, the Black & Milds, the Cajun cigarettes, and, you know, all the self-destructive things that I was doing that you're young and things aren't taught to you.
Right.
You know, you're just going off what you see, you know, your peers and older people doing, and, you know, you think it's a lifestyle that we all should be living, but actually it's a lifestyle that is self-destructive and, you know, deteriorating my health from the inside out. So from there, from my first year at college to my first senior year at college, I did 2 years, 2 senior years at Cheney University.
Okay.
But back in 2005, I came back to the city, and I was just happening to walk with one of my good friends, and down University City, 40th and Market, I came across a herb shop, and an angel appeared, Dr. Perlman, shout outs to the goddess, right? She invited me in, and I seen something that I never seen before, and I thought it was, you know, quack science, and it was a brother taking his finger and touching the clients in different parts of the body, and you seen people's body reflect. I'm like, what is this? Like, what's this hocus pocus? Like, what's this herb stuff y'all talking about?
Right.
So she was like, no, this is advanced kinesiology. Advanced kinesiology? First of all, what's kinesiology? She's like, kinetics. You heard of potential energy, you know, when things are instilled, you know, then you have kinetic energy when things are in motion. So I'm like, damn, she just broke some science down, like, you know, potential and kinetic energy.
Right.
So basically it was just muscle testing, reflexes of the body, how the body responds to different acupressure points in the body that's giving you information about what's going on inside of your body. Non-invasive techniques, never heard of it. So they offered me classes at Dr. Wise University Herbs. I was just 21 years old, brother. You know, none of my peers, nobody I knew was into herbs, talking about herbs. You know, it wasn't a big thing. It's just something that elders talk about, older people. So I had the grand opportunity of studying under the world famous Dr. Wyatt. He offered us classes, so I took classes under Dr. Wyatt. Got certified in body systems, body works, nutrition, and iridology, which I'm about to start doing more for the community, basically looking into the iris of the eye. And so I sat under Dr. Wyatt, gained my certificates. From Dr. Wyatt, I went to Pollock's and interned with Mr. Pollock on Broad and Nedro, and spent like a year under him just learning about herbs, you know, because when I studied under Dr. Wyatt, I just learned the philosophy and different techniques, but really didn't learn about herbs, even though that's part of his coursework. Yeah. So, so when I went to Pollock's, that's when I had my hands-on experience, you know, learning the herbs. And so I had, from a young age, I just had the opportunity to study under and practice under a lot of elders. you know, and I was the baby out the bunch, and they were trying to transfer and put that knowledge in the baby, so maybe one day I can pass it on to the future generations. That was over 15 years ago.
Wow.
So then Dr. Wyatt called me back, was like, Chris, what are you doing? Like, come back home. So he brought me back, and you know, Sifu, he's a Sifu. Dr. Wyatt was a master at Wing Chun, martial arts. So he invited me to learn some martial arts, and then he kind of Mr. Miyagi me. You know, remember Mr. Miyagi was a grandmaster, had Daniel's son, like,
wax on, wax off.
So he started me from the bottom. You know, I'm thinking when you invite me in, you're gonna put me on the floor, have me upstairs with everybody. He started me from the bottom when I didn't see no clients, no customers, and I was in the chamber. You know, and locked up in the chamber, learning how to make herbal formulas, working with one brother who barely talked to me for hours a day, and he just said, make this formula, here's this, put this here and this. And I just had the opportunity to have hands-on experience watching somebody and being taught hands-on how to make formulas, what goes with what, how the formulas were made to cleanse the blood, support the renal system, to cleanse the liver, to help eliminate waste from the GI tract, from the colon, you name it, Dr. Wyatt had it. And he was so advanced, so way ahead of his time, that he started dealing with energy work, you know, not just the physical body, but dealing with energy work. So initially when I came into the holistic realm, I was already familiar with what they call Reiki, and I didn't know it was a word called Reiki. I was just learning, working with my own energies and forces, and you know, trying to remove people's pain, like toothaches and ankle pains, and people was like, "Oh, that really worked." So then once I came to Dr. Wyatt's, I was introduced to, like, you know, different healing modalities such as Reiki, and I was like, wow, I was already doing it. So from the basement, he brought me up to the back room, and I was just loading up basic herbs, you know, a pound of red clover, an ounce of burdock root, just bagging it up. Still didn't see the customers. That was a whole 8 months later. Then about 4 or 5 months later, he finally put me on this floor, and that's when I actually got hands-on training from, at that time, I believe was Philadelphia's best herbalist, you know, holistic community, you know. And he put me on the floor, they trained me, allowed me to use my skills, you know, my iridology, my advanced kinesiology, my body works, my nutrition. And they actually trained me on how to work with the clients, how to assess the people, how to ask the right questions, how to just really communicate with people and just listen. You know, in this healing world, you know, it's not so much about you just talking all the time. It's you actively listening and filling out what the person has to tell you, and listening to what the person's not speaking. So they just trained me, you know, and after that I just started working with the clients hands-on. It was lines from early morning from the front desk all the way outside, so we had a long full day of actively healing the community. Yes.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
So that was, you know, just the start, just the beginning.
To give y'all a little backstory, I met this young gentleman, OG, through this program that I was going to, Trace for a Difference. Shout out to Jordan and Miguel. Basically, Jordan, he wants to see, like, the young people in the community start their own businesses, and whatever you're good at, he wants to put his resources behind you to make a business out of it and make it happen. So he introduced me to Chris, and I was like, let me bring my people's Nodula into the mix. And basically we was working on starting like a smoothie shop / business, and it was all in the works, but it didn't, you know, it didn't pan out. But that doesn't mean that it's still not, you know, that we don't have work to do together, because here we are today having this conversation, and further things, just from that introduction, further things can come from that. So I'm real big on introducing my people to, you know, my circle, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of what we doing here.
And it was just like, after that, you know, how many times did we run into each other after that? Like,
facts.
it had to be over like between 5 and 10 times, just always seeing each other, just pulling up. Yo, what's up, bro?
Yeah,
like,
right around the way.
Party everywhere, man. We just kept seeing each other all throughout the city.
That's a fact.
Confirmations, man.
Divine. So, if you were to sum up, what does holistic wellness mean / represent to you? How would you describe that?
I would describe it in one word, and that's oneness. Becoming whole, holistic, oneness, alignment, aligning the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and the physical. And once these things are aligned, I believe that harmony comes into play. And when there's harmony, there's health. So, that's my tagline, that's my punchline. Where there's harmony, there's health.
Right.
So it's just about you becoming one with yourself, with nature, with your fellow brothers and sisters, with humanity as a whole, with the universe, inner and outer universe, and just fine-tuning yourself, and that's what it's about, just becoming one. And I believe when you become one with yourself to the utmost, healing can be maintained, can be, your body can rejuvenate from this oneness, and not just your body, but on the soul level.
Facts.
Yes.
Because in society, well, especially in America, it's a lot of separatism and individualism, and they give us this, this idea that we aren't connected, or our problems is just our problems. Like, I was talking to one of my friends today, and I shared something with her, and she was like, I'm glad you shared that, because looking at you, I wouldn't think that you're going through this. And it's like, I tell people all the time, we got similar problems, or we're going through the same things, just at different times.
Sure.
But everybody feel alone because we don't have these conversations and communicate on an open scale or on a large basis. So it's like, that wholeness and that oneness is so important to connect with your fellow brothers and sisters, because you could drop a gem or you could share something that could help them in the situation that they're going through.
That's what it's about. That's right.
So back to, I remember when we first met, and you were telling me, like, in college you were bodybuilding, you were lifting weights. Yeah, tell me a little about that journey.
I went to Cheyney University. Shout out to the Cheyney Wolves out there, CU family, alumni, and the rest of my family out there, the Wolf Pack. But I was, people know me as a health figure up there, always being in shape, always being built. So my foundation was powerlifting. So I was like, between 220, 225, husky, 8-pack, just big, for no reason. I didn't play no sports, but just big, lifting a lot of heavy weights. And but once I started coming to the health journey, I kind of like shifted my diet and my workout programs to kind of lifting a little lighter, incorporating a lot of some stretching. I was always into the martial arts and calisthenics. So at Cheyney University, I opened up the first fitness club and had a nice team out there, and got a lot of the student body active in it. Coming out to our fitness club, we had the gym. I was the gym manager. The gym was actually shut down, and I, asked the activities director, "What's up with the gym? It's not open. No one's using it."
Right.
And once I said it, he gave me the job.
So you're saying the facility, they put you in charge of running the facility.
I hired my own team,
right,
and we brought music in there and just got it popping for the community. It's about recreation. Leisure, what you do with your leisure time.
Facts.
Recreation, it says recreation. How do you recreate your time or have a leisure time to build yourself, to raise yourself to your higher self? And that's where we want to be at, bro. We would just want to be in our higher selves and, God realization. So it's different ways of obtaining that self-realization. I just use health as an introduction to raise people to a higher frequency in thought.
Right.
Just through health, just through the topic of health. Right. So that's how, I started opening the gym, getting, my peers into health, and sometimes, you got so much going on, especially on a college campus. You got parties going on, this and schoolwork, and just like in real life, you can kind of neglect yourself and your health because you got so much going on. And I just like to call remembrance to aid for my brothers and sisters and myself, you know, that we got to put our health in the front portion of our life, in our thoughts.
Right. So we were talking about a little bit about cleansing the colon earlier, and how important that is, and what herbs you could use to do that. And I want to get into a little bit of the eating process and the digestion process, like basically how that happens, like how certain foods take longer to digest than other foods, and how that could be stored in the body or turned into waste and so on and so forth.
So that's a really unique question, and I'll do my best to answer that. First of all, digestion starts in the mouth.
Right.
It starts from right here.
Chewing.
A lot of times we think it just all starts from our intestines and our stomach, but when you're eating or dealing with herbs and healing or digestion, you have pre-digestive effects and post-digestive effects.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you have herbs that help with like pre-digestive or pre-effects and post-effects. So like, say you squeeze a lemon, taste a lemon. You know what I mean? You didn't even digest it yet, but it's having an effect on your body. You start salivating at the mouth, or you eat cayenne pepper. It has a pre-digestive effect. It didn't even hit your gut yet, but what happens if you eat too much cayenne pepper? Your face will get flushed, right? Your eyes will begin to watering.
Yeah.
Those are pre-digestive effects.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But your body requires. And that heat hits your body, and pungent herbs have a dispersing effect. The taste, not just the actions of the food, but the energetics of the food. You know what I mean? That's what we gotta think of. Everybody think of the actions of an herb, but herbs got energetics and energies to them. So the energy of cayenne pepper is hot, it's pungent, that's the taste, but the energetic of it has dispersing. It pushes things to the surface of your skin and pushes things out. So that's why your eyes begin to water, your nose begin to run, pushing mucus out your body. You know what I mean? So that's the pre-digestive effect. And post-digestive effect is once, that bitter food hits your belly, it creates more bile to help break down your foods, break down fats, cholesterol. Bitter herbs will help stimulate the peristaltic movement of your intestines, to move the intestines in a wave-like movement to push waste out. As we know, like, heavy proteins and meats take longer to digest.
Right.
It takes sometimes days and weeks just for it to break down. And as it's sitting in your digestive tract, it's fermenting. Just think of like wine. It has a fermenting effect. So your food is like kind of like turning into wine inside your body. It's just sitting there fermenting, and you get something called auto intoxication. See, your colon walls is paper thin. So say this is the inside of your colon walls. If that waste don't go out and eliminate in a doable time, that waste begins to seep through the colon walls into your bloodstream.
Okay, yeah.
And that blood begins to circulate throughout your body, and hopefully it don't cross that blood-brain barrier to get to your brain, get you thinking differently.
Sheesh.
You know what I mean? And if you see out in society, you start talking about digestion. I just want to touch on this real quick, bro. Can I?
Yeah, for sure.
So like in Philly, man, our crime rate is horrific. You got crazy murders, crazy things going on all the time. And you just like, is people going out their mind?
Right.
Like, what's going on in people's heads that it's just crazy things going on? And you can't pinpoint it. You think it's something in the water, but it's something in our food. It's something that's going on in our physiological body, in our psychological body.
Sure.
It's psycho-spiritual.
Yeah.
And it's psychophysiological.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's psychophysiological down to the cells, to the body, and psycho-spiritual going on in spiritual. So food is spiritual, it's vibrational. So, you know, a lot of our foods have preservatives in it, you know, food coloring, dyes. Don't think for 1 second that when your body has to process this, your liver, you know, it's already overburdened with the foods, the air, the water, the chemicals you put on the skin. Your liver gotta process all of that. But your liver is a juggernaut for digestion. So if your liver gotta overprocess this stuff, if your colon gotta push this waste out and hold in waste, you know, and taking longer for this food to digest in your system, you know, you gotta just figure like everything's connected. So it's just not your physical digestion, it's how you digest your mental, your emotions, how you digesting the intake of what's going on in your life and your inner life and your outer life. How are you digesting that info, bro? How do we intake that? If you're not digesting your physical food well, how are you going to digest your mental food well, your emotional food well?
It's all connected.
It's all connected. So we got to digest this food really well, and we want to have quick transition. The quicker the better. Quick elimination, quick absorption. You know, so fruits and vegetables, food high in fiber, that's what we want. Your fruits, you want to eat in the color of the rainbow. You know, get all those phytonutrients, those phytochemicals, those plant protective chemicals that that will protect your immune system, the anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer. And that's what the colors are there for. They're there to vibe with you. You know, your greens, foods that's rich in chlorophyll. You know, to cleanse your cells, your tissues of the body, and absorb into, you know, your body. You want to absorb the sunlight. You're eating sunlight. You know, you're eating information. You're eating the fine-tuned information from the universe itself through your food. So it's just a cycle that you want to just chew your food well, first of all. Chew your food. We tend to take bites and just swallow.
Like, rush through the process.
You know, we want to chew your food really well. You know, don't eat too late. You know, some of us, you know, I ain't gonna hold you. Sometimes I just sneak and eat food late at night. I'm not exempt, bro. I tell you that all the time. I'm not exempt from the eating crisis, the eating epidemic that we're in. You know, it's self-discipline. So sometimes late at night I might try to sneak a quick meal, then wake up in the middle of the night, my stomach all tight and griping, and the next day, like, no, I gotta try to eat my food, you know, before 7 o'clock.
Or even wake up tired, because then you gotta digest. Basically, I heard that your system shuts down and it goes to sleep after a certain amount of time. So you're not giving your body enough rest because you're bombarding it with food after it's already like, I retired for the day. So it's like, then it got more work to get to once you wake up, and then you're not in the, you know, getting that REM sleep in a sense, or you're not really relaxing into your sleep, or just preparing yourself to rest in a sense.
True indeed. And that's a key point right there, because technically when you're asleep, your body is supposed to be resting. It's a fast. And that's a simple fast you do when you're asleep. You're not supposed to be breaking down, using energy while you're sleeping. That's when your body is resting and repairing and healing and rejuvenating while you're resting. You know, so like you said, so when you wake up, you should feel restful, not so tired and like, I can't get out of bed. No, we should be up and at 'em from before the sunrise. You should be feeling good and invigorated, ready to tackle the day, you know. But then we're sluggish and we got goals, we got family, we got endeavors to carry out, but you're too sluggish in body and will to manifest your dreams and desires. So, you know, that's why it's important to eat hours before you go to rest. I don't even want to say sleep, before you go to rest. Because we slept enough, y'all. We slept enough, bro. It's time for our people to wake up in the mind, wake up in spirit. You know, we always talk about this is the age of woke, to be awoke or awakened. You know, not just be awoke, but to be awakened. We want to be awakened. We want to have not just to be aware or conscious, but we want to have activeness. Have consciousness. It's a difference between being conscious and having consciousness. You know, conscious is just being aware. You know, everybody's aware, moving and aware, you know, but consciousness is that conscious, perpetual consciousness. So we want to be awakened at all times, from day till night. So it's all part of the cycle of life, brother.
Act on that awareness. Speaking of nighttime, I think we're gonna head back to the spot. So we was speaking on the digestion process, and we finished up on that, and you kind of touched on basically how toxins, or you kind of brushed on how toxins are stored, because you were saying like it breaks through the gut thin layer, and then it circulates through the body, and sometimes it enters the brain blood barrier. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just hear that toxins are stored in the body because it's harmful for it to circulate, so the body stores them. And I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about that process, like I heard the toxins are stored in the fat and things like that.
All right.
So could you touch on that for us?
Yeah, so like you said, toxins are definitely stored in the fat, mm-hmm. and they're stored in the tissues of the body.
Okay.
You know, I would say like the 7 layers of the tissue. You know, the blood is a tissue in itself. You know, your muscle, your mm-hmm. fat, your plasma, your reproductive tissues. Mm-hmm. You know, all these toxins can be stored in your tissues and your cells.
Right.
You know, so we just gotta be mindful of, you know, our cells carry codes and information.
Right.
They carry information, they communicate, they're live, you know. And a lot of times we say we gotta feed our bodies, but in reality our body feeds itself, you know. So what you put into your body is has a divine intelligence to it, so it knows what it needs. So when you take so-called food and you put it into your body thinking you're feeding your body, no, your body and your cells is intelligent. Mm-hmm. So it knows what it needs and it knows what it doesn't need. So the food or the vitamins, the minerals, the life force that it needs, it takes. And what it takes, and what it doesn't, it's just left in the body as waste. Mm-hmm. And it's there to be eliminated. But so that's the process of absorption and elimination. Mm-hmm. So our body got to break down everything. That's where you got anabolic processes, catabolic, yeah. Metabolic, okay. You know, and how everything breaks down and absorbed into the body and utilized. So that's really important to keep in mind, that you want to give your body exactly what it needs to assimilate the information or process the foods, the nutrients, and you want to have quick elimination.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of, you know, I talk to a lot of women, and you know, they're very big on gaining weight, and I always say, like, that may not be for you, or they say I'm losing weight if I do this, if I'm running too much, or I'm doing that, and I'm like, everybody's weight is specific to their height and so on and so forth, and even if the weight you're putting on, it may be waste, it may not even be healthy weight, because how we look at, you know, gaining weight may be tainted, that perspective in itself. So yeah, that understanding of the appropriate weight for your height and how that works as far as like gaining muscle, or how would a person go about gaining muscle without putting on too much waste, like how that is balanced out with the diet in a sense.
Yeah, it's balanced with the diet and what you do with your physical body itself. You know, let's just look at a few like herbivores, like gorillas. Them gorillas is 90% muscle.
Right.
Hardcore muscle, strong, one of the strongest, you know, mammals out there. You know, they can lift buildings if they needed, bricks and logs, and jump through the trees. You know, I'm exaggerating when I say buildings, but you know what I mean. They just built for tough, and they thrive. They live long. You know, so they're eating abundance of vegetables and plant life, and they use their physical body often. You know, so that's what we want to do. We want to just build the muscle up. You know, muscle they say weighs more than fat.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So it's just a way how we build our bodies up, use it, and condition it as we feed it the appropriate things that the body requires. And you know, when I started my journey, I can remember plenty of people asking me if I was sick because they remember me a certain way. Then when I went vegan and vegetarian for many years and was juicing and fasting a few times a week, juiced every day, you know, fasting multiple times a week, and raw foods, you know, vegan foods, vegetarian foods, and the weight that I thought was healthy was just waste. And my body went through a natural detoxifying process that once I stopped eating the quote-unquote junk food, the animal flesh and, you know, processed foods, that waste, which is weight, dropped and eliminated itself. You know, I dropped the dead waste, the false information that I was consuming, or the weight. You know, the weight is weight. It's not just physical weight, but it's weight, emotional weight, spiritual weight, physical weight, you know, just things that hold us down, you know, like, and all that just left, and I became light, you know, light upon light, you know, light in spirit, light in my spiritual body, light in weight, you know what I mean? And I travel by light and live in the light, not neglecting my darkness, because we need the darkness as well, you know, and I appreciate the darkness within me, and I appreciate the light. So, but my body just became light, and you know, I just felt better, but I still continue to use my body, and that's part of the holistic aspect of health. You know, you exercise your 5 senses if you're able, and the other 2 would kick in. You know, the intuition, the mental faculties, you know, the higher parts of our thinking kind of kicks in. People call, you know, telepathy. You're just different things and faculties in your body kicks in when you add the meditation, the deep breathing, the contemplation, the fasting, the exercise, eating the fruits, the vegetables, doing some juicing, and you know, just making yourself well-rounded, you know, and balanced. And it can be a struggle, but I think if you place yourself around the right people, the right environments, take some time to yourself, get enough sunlight, get enough rest, drink enough water, and just strive to do your best. You know, it's a lot that we have against us out here, but when you link up with the right people and just start looking deeper within inside of yourself, you'll find untapped potential, latent powers that lie concealed in the heart of man. And I think health is just a beautiful avenue for it, bro.
Yeah, speaking to the point you were saying, like how the health was a platform for you to share other consciousness with people. That's kind of like how I'm getting into it as well. It's like, this started off just strictly talking about health, but it's like, let's talk about the evolution of spiritual growth in general. Let's just share people's journey with people, because everybody I have on the platform, health may be a part of their journey, but it's probably not their focus for the most part. He's one of the biggest health-oriented people that I have on the platform, but for the other people, they get into it, but you know what I'm saying, it's different. And another point was, when I talk to people about, like, you know, going plant-based or fasting and stuff like that, or them just switching their diet, they always say like, oh, I'm not full if I eat those things. And that's something I mentioned to them, like, it's a mindset shift as far as like what you view as being full is different, because you got to get used to being light. So you so used to like foods weighing you down, or, you know, being tired, and it's a whole different, you know, perception shift of how you view foods or your relationship with eating, because you're light in a sense. Like, it's you're just gonna feel different, and you gotta kind of get used to that or become accustomed and adjust to that lifestyle if you want to continue down that path.
True.
And so
True. I like the way you broke that down though, just like the evolution, like how initially, like in your journey of doing, you know, talking, bringing people onto your platform, you start talking about health.
Yeah.
Then this shows your own growth.
Yeah.
You know, your own evolution and like just evolving through your connections with different people and growing and with inside of yourself. And like it started on health. Now we're talking about consciousness. You know, we're talking about community. You know, humanitarian work now,
Facts.
you know, and how health correlates to what's going on in society, you know, and I think it goes hand in hand, bro. You know, like what the chaos and confusion that we see taking place in society is really taking place within the heavens and man, or, you know, man or humanity being at war with themselves and, you know, in unseen places, you know. So this health thing that we see, you know, the crime, the sickness, the fear, wherever you're taking place, it's really taking place within man. That's a health crisis. You know, it's just not the virus thing that you see, but, you know, it's fear, it's worry, you know, it's murders, it's crime, you know, these are the chemistries of life taking place inside of us. It's a chemistry thing, a biochemistry thing taking place that we're off balance. The molecules, the atoms, the free radicals, things is banging into each other inside of us because of the food, because of the air, because of the environmental pollutions, you know, and the environmental pollutions, the environmental injustices are having a physiological effect on our bodies and a psychospiritual effect within us, which is health, and a mental effect, an emotional effect. So society is in a health crisis right now. So we need these conversations to take place so we can just awaken into the health crisis of planet Earth, or the realm of Earth, which is going through, because Earth is just a reflection. The physical Earth, to me, in my divine work, the earth is just a physical reflection of what's just taking place in the body of man.
Microcosm, and macro.
Say that again. Say, what is that?
Microcosm, macrocosm.
See, and that's powerful, because it's just like, if we want to really put this earth, because this is the Ancient One's return. This is the era of the Ancient One's returning. We're in his flesh now to bring justice upon the earth, to bring the earth back in balance. We came manifesting all at the same time to bring this realm back in balance. You got those who's causing the imbalance, and you got the ones who's there to draw the sword of justice, that scimitar, that sword of justice, the angels of light, to put this realm back in balance. So, but this world is, you know, you got your wildfires, you got your hurricanes, you got whether volcanoes erupting over here, tsunamis, earthquakes,
all that.
These are just things, if you apply it somehow to the body, you see that the body has, you know, the volcanoes, strange things coming out the bowels, you know, like the volcano, you know, you got the wildfires, the fire or digestion, or the heart fire, or the smoke from the lungs, or the, you know, just so many ways can correlate that the earth shifts are really the shifts that's taking place within man himself.
Right.
And if we look deeper into our health and to ourselves and make the appropriate alignments, we can realign this earth. So that's how I look at the work that I'm doing, is just in a scientific way, in a casual way. When I talk to the people in my society, in my community, in my environments, when I'm called to action, it's just like just another stepping stone to help put the earth back in balance through helping another individual put themselves back in balance. I don't know if I'm going off track with it, but it's just my train of thought, you know.
It's all connected.
And I hope people follow it.
Yeah, that was one of my initial thoughts getting into this, because I read a lot of books about just culture, spirituality, nature, all those things, and then I got into the health. And the whole point of it is holistic health. That was me and Najla's first event. It's the holistic health event. Wow. So it's not about just health. It's about all the spiritual tools you could use, all the avenues that you could put together to make it holistic. And it's not, it's not just one truth, it's multiple truths, it's multiple perspectives, but we could all use them to assist one another to make the grand plan work together. We're all puzzle pieces to put it all together.
Yes, sir.
So this is powerful, guys. This is powerful. I want to talk about the importance of the lymphatic system and movement. Yeah.
What you got on mind?
So pretty much just how I heard the lymphatic system is not like the circulation of the blood, like the heart pumps it, but the lymphatic system is based upon, exercise and movement. And just, touching on that.
You got some deep questions, bro. I'll do my best to answer that with the lymphatic system and movement. It's a system upon systems, and everything's interrelated, interconnected. So, like you said, the circulatory system is being pumped by the heart,
right?
To get the blood moving and sent to the center of the body, to the most distal parts of the body. However, the lymphatic system requires movement to move the lymph fluid throughout the body. And the lymph fluid has to get pumping and move. And movement acts as a pump to send it to and throughout the lymphatic system. And to the lymph organs, the tonsils, the thymus gland, the spleen, the bone marrow, the Peyer's patch in the small intestines.
That's also something I heard is the toxins are stored in the lymph system in a sense, or even with the women dealing with breast cancer and how we misinterpret, the bumps on their breasts as that being the lymph nodes being full, basically, and the deodorant is blocking the glands from releasing, so therefore the lymph nodes clog up and stuff like that.
Right, and it gets stagnation. Stagnation is major in the body. Just think of a pond when a pond is just stagnant, like it's just death. You got mosquitoes flying around it, and there's no movement of that water flow. And we need movement, we need the flow. So the lymphatic system moves through movement and breathing.
Facts.
So that's why a lot of people I come across, they think it's just about like getting herbs and plants. But when you sit down and we talk, most of the things I speak about is about taking deep breaths, full breathing, complete breathing, fire breaths, alter nasal, not a Shuddha breathing, to get the breath flowing and energy moving in certain directions to break up that stagnation. So, like you said, so when you exercise and get that movement and light movement, it doesn't take heavy movement, walking, jogging, stretching, yoga, Tai Chi, martial arts, Pilates, whatever, just movement. Basic movement gets that lymph fluid moving throughout the lymph nodes, in the deep breathing, massages, your internal organs, and also gets that lymph fluid movement throughout your body. So those are the only two ways to really get the lymph fluid moving and to really activate your lymphatic system. And that's a system that really Pre-COVID, people really wasn't really talking about their immune system so much, you know. But now it's like at this height. You know, everybody's want to boost their immunity up. So movement is a very good way to get that lymph fluid moving. And it's like, okay, so what's in the lymph fluid? So within your lymph fluid, you have nutrients, minerals, proteins. Also, it's carrying, you know, your defensive mechanisms, your white blood cells that's in your lymph nodes. So when you said, like, you know, in the mammary glands, the breasts, you know, the lymph nodes, they get full with pathogens, viruses, toxins, and we gotta get them things moving. So you can do the massages, you know, the scrubs, and massaging your skin, and deep tissue massages. It's a sister out here in Philadelphia. She goes by Oya. She does the Thai massages. You know, you got the sister Shani who does the massages and the soul massages out here. You know, there's a lot of people who do massages. Sister Sunshine. And here she does the deep tissue lymphatic massages. Sister Monique down Alney does massages. So people know that not just physical movement, but just the touch and massaging yourself and having people do them deep tissue massages to get those wastes moving out your body is great. But you know, within the lymph nodes, you know, you got your B cells, your T cells, you got your macrophages, your lymphocytes, you know, and we want to get these things activated, you know. So the movement, the breath, and of course certain plant life interacts with your body. You know, the plants itself has its own immune system. You know, so when we ingest these plants, they help activate our immune system. So they have the plants in their environment, they got to protect themselves from, you know, external pathogens, fungus, bacteria, viruses. They got an immune system, and that's where the phytochemicals come in. Those plant protective chemicals that they have in them, that's their immune system. So that's how herbs work. When we take them herbs, those phytochemicals, the plant's immune system, it activates ours because we're, like you said, holistic, one with the plants. And it activates ourselves. So when you eat the right foods, plenty of fruits, plenty of vegetables, you know, drink clean water, live water, do your herbs, do your breathing, get the movement, your immunity is activated. But also, you know, that's your lymphatic system. But I just want to keep in mind, along with that, you want to get your defensive chi up, you know, your psychological, your spiritual immunity up, you know, and that's just as important as your physical immunity is getting your psycho-spiritual immunity system up, you know, to protect yourself, your mind, your body, your physical body as well as your spiritual bodies. You want to, you know, manage those. So movement is important. You know, and sometimes they say movement is important, but stillness is important also. So they go hand in hand. You know, you can just still yourself and, you know, activate your breathing within that stillness, you know, or you can move and activate your breathing.
And that's a part of the absorption you was like touching on, like with the stillness. It's like, you know, that time to reflect and really like assimilate everything you've been through. Cause I tell people all the time, like I journal, so like at either the beginning or the end of the day, that's a good time to, you know, be still, reflect, you know, journal your thoughts down and basically just go over your day and what you've been through, the people you came across, the money you spent, just to, you know, keep track of things and let it digest and assimilate. I think that's key because, you know, we're constantly on the move. Things are constantly being thrown our way. So it's important, you know, to take that time and to just take it slow and to just, you know, breathe.
Yes.
It's essential. It's essential to life, you know, breath. And a lot of us take it for granted, but that's one of the key components to you. You could only go so long without breathing. You could go longer without water, but you know, it starts with the breath.
Yes.
So you gotta have that constant reminder, and that's what we here doing for
that's
the people.
That's what it is. You know, the way you breathe is the way you live your life.
Yeah.
You know, you think how, like, when you're upset, how you breathe. When you cry, you go, you know, that has effect on your lungs. That's sorrow and grief. And, you know, when you're, you know, you're mad, you fire breathe. You frustrate, that blood gets boiling, you know. And if you breathe short breaths, you what? Live a short life. If you take full, deep breaths, you live a full life. You know, expanding that life force, that prana, you know. So when you take them deep, full breathing. From the gut, massage those organs, get that lymph fluid moving, activate, you know, that defensive energy in you. You know, it really activates the body.
That's so interesting, because when I was going to like open mics and just you know, or when I just speak to people in general about health, I say like how breathing's connected to your mood. Wow. But you put the, you know, the animation behind it and like really like, you know, showed it is so powerful, because I just be like, when you angry, you know, you may take shorter breaths versus if you're more relaxed and really taking deep breaths or in a peaceful state, it's more elongated breaths. And but that animation acting it out is so it's another level to it.
And when you think about it, like, many people measure their lives by their age,
right?
But the wise man will measure his life by the breaths he takes.
Wow.
You know, and you'll realize, like, you know, if you ever seen somebody transitioning to the next phase, it's just like the breath is spirit, the spirit is breath. Like, life is spirit, life is breath. And like, once that breath leaves the body, it's like the spirit leaves, you know. So spirit is breath. We are the breath made manifest.
Facts.
You know.
Facts.
We are spirit made manifest. So breathe yourself to life. Breathe yourself to health, to rejuvenation. Go out into nature. Get that, you know, the high ions, and get movement. You know, my brother Troy came to bring that science, talking about movement and life and the lymphatic system. This is what we need to hear. So, you know, just gratitude for just creating this platform and just the questions and scenarios, because, you know, people need to hear it, and you're activating thought, you know, just within myself, you know. So I appreciate it, King.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Before we get out of here, any resources and any last things you want to plug / touch on for the people?
You know, first of all, I'm here, you know, because you're my brother, but also, you know, this is a birthday present, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
King Libra in the house right here, you know, the house of Libra.
Appreciate
you know,
that.
So when you asked me to come on, I definitely had in mind that it was your burn day, your manifestation day. So I just want to send you my blessings on that to close out. And just I'm watching you grow, succeed in all your endeavors, come to light in life. So I just want to push that energy forward, and, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. So if I can close out anything, that would be part of it, man. And the year's not done yet, so just keep going, and I expect to see more. I know I'm going to see greatness out of you.
Yes, sir.
So that's just one aspect. But anything else you want to touch on?
Well, God support my brother, you know. We're going to throw the Cash App down there. So tell the people your Cash App.
My Cash App is $Plantman and the number 7.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, on Instagram, I'm Plantman_7. I don't make a lot of videos. You know, platforms like this, people invite me out. I may be open to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know, I make my own holistic products. You can reach me, contact me there. I do a few things out in the community, help people with a variety of health issues, plant identification, nature walks. I train, on all different levels. You come out and train with me. It's not the training you think you're going to get. It's a holistic training. When I take people out into, different parks and train their spirit, train their mind, and get them aligned with nature. So, I just want to invite everybody out for that as well when you contact me. So yeah, that's my Cash App,
Okay.
support the products. And
Yes, I got the colon cleanse.
How was the colon cleanse for you, bro?
I haven't taken
You
it
haven't
yet,
taken it? All
but
right.
I will be taking it soon, and I will keep y'all informed
Please
on
do.
the journey. I'll document it. I'm gonna be journaling it, and I'm
Word.
gonna let the family know how it goes. So I'm excited about that, and just taking my health to the next level,
That's what it's about.
committing, and really locking in. So I'm excited about that.
All right.
Yeah, you got any questions for me before we get out of here? We
Oh,
touched
man.
on a lot, I know.
Yo, I mean, you're inspirational, bro.
Oh, man.
You're inspirational. The young brother, man, and I see myself and you and me, and when I see on your page, you went from being active in the community, working on your crafts, your arts, and your sciences with Trades for a Difference. Then, I see you out in the community, doing these runs and motivating with your team and the soldiers, it's just inspirational. And, you invited me out once for a run.
Around this time last year.
It was around this time.
Yeah.
And, I felt like, oh, man, I can't do it. I'm out of shape, bro. And, I'm getting older. I came with all these excuses, kept trying to duck and dive. I'm busy. And I finally came out with you, and, your energy was just so high, King. Your energy was just high through the roof, and you gave me that encouragement, that inspiration, and you can still learn from people who's younger than you. And I just took on your challenge. You challenged me, and sometimes we need our peers and our brothers and sisters to encourage us and push us.
For sure.
Even when you think you can't do it. I kept saying, I had that in my thought, I ain't going on no mile or two run. And next thing you know, we ran 5 miles that night or more.
Facts.
We ran the whole city.
Facts.
And I came out I didn't break. I didn't, I might have been a little, I didn't break, So those times you just kept pushing me, and I completed the course, and that was inspirational. More than the body, it was a mental thing.
Yeah.
And, so just keep doing what you're doing, man. I'll just thank you for it.
Thank you. Man, I appreciate that. Yeah. Every time I invite people out to the run, they be like, how many miles is it? And I'm like, look, don't worry about the miles, because it really is a mental thing. It's like you be with all the people, and it's so many people. You're not going to be the last one. You're not going to be the only one. You're running at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just focus on your breath.
That's it.
Focus on your breath, maintain your pace, and you'll get through it, and you'll enjoy the process, because it's a lot of beautiful energy out there, and people that's motivated, that's working on the same things you working on, are working towards similar goals. So like he says, it's about, motivating the next person, inspiring the next person for them to be their best selves, or just to better themselves. And that creates the community for us all to, evolve.
That's what it's about.
Yes. And on that note,